It's deniable that using powerful drugs on a regular basis appear to be needed to be a world-class bodybuilder. While steroids are very common and open to debate to be harmful for body, some other drugs like insulin, HGH, and diuretics come with far more fatal consequences. Let's take a look at some bodybuilders who passed away too young. Number 10. Dallas McCarver, 26. Dallas McCarver started his career at an early age. He won 3 out of 5 of his IFBB competitions between 2012 and 2015. He also placed 8th at the 2016 Mr. Olympia competition. In March 2017, Dallas collapsed while posing at the Arnold Classic in Australia. He explained later that he had been battling an upper respiratory infection that progressed into bronchitis, leaving him unable to catch his breath. On August 22, 2017, Dallas was found on the floor at home with food scattered around him. He was pronounced gone at 1:03 a.m. Enlarged liver and kidneys, nephrosclerosis, a hardened kidney, heavy lungs, and a papillary thyroid carcinoma were noted in autopsy. Just a few hours before his passing, he posted a video of himself chest-pressing 160-pound dumbbells on his Instagram page. His passing was saddening, but also brought to light his history of steroid use. Number 9. Andreas Munzer, 31. Andreas Munzer was a professional bodybuilder from Austria, known for his extremely ripped physique. His bodybuilding debut came in 1986 at the European Amateur Championships. He turned professional with his heavyweight victory at the 1989 IFBB World Amateur Games and competed several times in numerous competitions, including the Mr. Olympia and Arnold Classic. On March 12, 1996, he started bleeding internally within his stomach. When the bleeding was stopped by doctors, his kidneys and liver collapsed. On the morning of March 14, 1996, the bodybuilder world awoke to the devastating news of Andreas' passing. Bodybuilding had received much criticism about the damaging use of anabolic steroids and its dangers. How many steroids are too many steroids? The question was back again with his passing. It is clear bodybuilding drugs were a factor in Andreas' case, but is this the whole story? Guess we'll never know. 8. Daniele Seccarecci, 33. Daniele Seccarecci was born on February 17, 1980 in Livorno, Tuscany. He became interested in the world of bodybuilding from an early age. He turned professional at the age of 26, and he went close to qualifying for the Mr. Olympia at the 2006 Spanish Grand Prix. Aside from being a top-ranked bodybuilder from Europe, Daniele was also holder of the Guinness Book of Records as the man with the largest arms in the world, 55 centimeters, and the heaviest competitive male bodybuilder. He was arrested in 2011 under charges of illegal steroid marketing and briefly subjected to home detention. Rumor has it that Daniele suffered a heart condition resulting in a heart attack. He apparently collapsed and hit his head on 4 September 2013. His mother found the body of Seccarecci, who had just returned from a trip to Finland where he took part in various sporting events. Number 7. George Peterson, 37. George "Da Bull" Peterson passed away days before competing at the 2021 Olympia. The classic physique and 212 division veteran expected to return to the big stage at the Olympia weekend, where he hoped to break his streak of landing in third place each showing. The 37-year-old bodybuilding star was found in his hotel room, face down after his coach was unable to reach him. Reportedly, George was found with blood around his nose, which suggests that his passing could be related to an aneurysm. His coach, hotel staff, and later the EMTs tried to revive him with CPR, but to no avail, as it appeared that he had been gone for several hours. According to George's coach, Justin Miller, he was energetic and on point, both mentally and physically, and hence the tragic news came out of nowhere. George Peterson was a nice guy and a great ambassador for the sport. His passing was mourned by the entire bodybuilding fraternity. Number 6. Anthony D'Arezzo, 44. Anthony was a graduate of Boston University and had worked as a personal trainer for over a decade. He was the overall New England champion back in 1997 and was in the top 10 at the NPC Nationals on several occasions, as well as competing in powerlifting. In 1997, he had ripped a tricep muscle while training for the NPC Nationals and had to have surgery to reattach it to his elbow. It set him back almost 2 years, but eventually he returned to the gym. Doctors in 2002 had diagnosed him with congenital heart disease. He was in Pittsburgh inside his hotel room, where he was going to compete in the Masters Nationals when he collapsed in his hotel room at Sheraton Station Square. An autopsy ruled that Mr. D'Arezzo passed due to cardiomyopathy, according to the Allegheny County Medical Examiner's Office. Number 5. Greg Kovacs, 44. Greg Kovacs was a Canadian bodybuilder born and raised in Niagara Falls, Ontario, with a rare monumental height compared to most pro bodybuilders. Standing 6 foot 4 inches tall with 400 pounds muscle mass, he was a rare bodybuilder with massive size throughout his frame. Gregory developed over 27-inch arms in the prime of his career. His highest professional bodybuilding placing was 13th at the 2004 Arnold Classic. Kovacs died on November 22, 2013 at midnight in his Mississauga, Ontario condominium from heart failure. Number 4. Shawn Rhoden, 46. November 6, 2021, the day the bodybuilding and fitness world was jolted by pro bodybuilder and 2018 Mr. Olympia winner Shawn Rhoden's sudden passing, reportedly owing to a heart attack. Rhoden was no ordinary bodybuilder. Apart from his monster shoulders and giant quads, he made history in 2018 by becoming the oldest bodybuilder at 43 years and 5 months old to win the Mr. Olympia crown. Sadly, Shawn Rhoden was banned from competing at the 2019 Mr. Olympia contest due to a physical misconduct accusation. Who knew 2018 would be Shawn's last time on the Olympia stage? Unfortunately, Rhoden did not get an opportunity to defend himself or clear his name. Maybe it was the heart attack that got him, or maybe Sergio Oliva Jr. hit the nail on its head when he said, "Shawn Rhoden died because he couldn't do what he loved." Number 3. Scott Milne, 46. IFBB pro bodybuilder Scott Milne passed away unexpectedly of a heart attack at his home at the age of 46. The Canadian bodybuilder competed from 1996 to 2004, earning his pro card in 2002. Milne struggled with injuries throughout his career and never registered a pro contest win. As a result, Scott stopped competing and instead focused his efforts on helping others train. He also had a few acting gigs in a Canadian TV show. In a 2010 interview, Scott had expressed that a major influence on his desire to compete in bodybuilding came from none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Scott Milne had some controversial legal issues in his lifetime, with trafficking drugs and steroids, but the 6'3", 250 pounds big-hearted giant was nonetheless loved by the bodybuilding community. Dave Palumbo posted the following message about the unfortunate passing. "Sorry to hear that one of the true super freaks, Scott Milne, has passed away from a heart attack. The Canadian Moose, as he was known, will be missed but not forgotten." Number 2. Nasser El Sonbaty, 47. Nasser El Sonbaty was born on October 15, 1965. He graduated from the University of Augsburg in Germany. His father was Egyptian and his mother was from Yugoslavia. He was strong and had an ideal genetic, as it said that he was benching 85 kilos when he was 17 years old. Nasser began bodybuilding in 1983. His first appearance in the Mr. Olympia competition was in 1994, where he placed 7th. He qualified for 10 consecutive Mr. Olympia contests and entered 9 Mr. Olympia competitions. His best placing in the competition was in 1997, where he placed 2nd behind Dorian Yates. Nasser is often referred to as the uncrowned Mr. Olympia because many believe that Nasser should have won that competition. The greatest victory of his career maybe was his win at the 1999 Arnold Classic in Ohio. He suffered from a staph infection in his shoulder, which nearly cost him his life. He was in hospital for a long time and needed several operations. Nasser required a heart transplant, but he did not qualify as a candidate, and so he chose to spend his final days with his family in Egypt. He passed away in his sleep due to kidney and heart failure. Number 1. Mike Matarazzo, 48. Mike Matarazzo is one of the most well-known bodybuilders of all time, remembered for his impressive calves and arms. Mike was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Like many others in his generation, Mike decided to try his hand at boxing inspired by Rocky Balboa. He won his first title at the age of 24. He became the 1985 Massachusetts Golden Gloves light heavyweight champion. He competed 7 times at Mr. Olympia contest from 1991 to 2001, while his best placing was 9th in 1998. He retired on December 8, 2004 because of having open heart surgery. He had a heart attack 3 years later on November 8, 2007. He eventually passed away on August 16, 2014 in Stanford Hospital in Palo Alto while waiting for a heart transplant. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you another time.